Today I'm going to show you a stove that was a bit of a mystery stove for me. The tank is maybe plated, it could be a brass, it isn't magnetic, but the pot stand is. The pot stand is removable, which makes me think that this was probably used in a lot of different stove setups. Taking away the pot stand, and it's a very light, almost tinny type of stove, but very nice. And what attracted me to it to begin with was this here. If I just remove the cap, you can see that it has a fuse, rather like the tapiole stove, which I showed a little while ago, and here's a picture here. It was from Portugal. If you turn that, it allows a sleeve to move up and down to control the flame. Very nice little mechanism, but slightly different from the Portuguese stove. I didn't know where this was from. It had some writing on the bottom, maybe from when it was sold, it was in pounds. And what I thought was a dent in the bottom, in the middle, turned out to be the maker's mark, which you can see here in this photograph. I had to put the camera on macro to get it. And it is BW. That is the mark for a firm called Bing. And as you can see, it's from Germany. Now, when I was doing my research into this, I used Google Image Search, which is an AI system. And it gave me totally spurious and incorrect information, leading me to a German firm that makes slide rules. The only part it got right was that it was from Germany, which is bloody obvious considering that it says Germany on the bottom. I had to resort to my own human intelligence to find out that it's a Bing stove, BW branding, and that stamp was used between 1925 and 1932. So this stove could be 100 years old. So I was intrigued by the mechanism of this and the fact that it was similar to the tapiole. If I take out the wick holder and remove the wick, you can see that the wick has degraded by over half. So the first thing we need to do before we can use this stove is replace the wick. Now I obtained some 10mm wick, and what we'll do is we'll just twist it up to the end, trim it off, if I can with this hand. And cut it off at the other end. Now hopefully this will now be able to soak up and work. It's just a cotton lamp wick, 10mm, and I have enough to last quite a few stoves in the future. Most of the wicks that were available online were fiberglass. I didn't want them. I wanted to replace it with like for like with a cotton one. If we compare what was in it, you can see they're very similar, except this one is cut better. Now, let's put it all back together. And we shall fuel it up and give it time for the wick to soak. Now, as per usual, I don't know what the tank is made of. This is a very rust-free, tarnish-free stove, so I will not be leaving fuel in the tank. Let's just see if it's going to reach it. Yep. We'll give it a little helping hand. Give it a little soak from the top. And I'll come back to you, because this will need a very good soaking. Now what we'll do is we'll just swap it round and we'll give it a test. Okay, let's give it a light and we'll see what happens. Switch off the lights. And there we can see it's quite a strong flame from all parts down the side. The new wick is burning well. So we'll just put on our 300 mils of water and see how long it boils for. Okay. Oh 5:27. Now, give or take a couple of seconds for me to start putting on the stopwatch. That took about 5:30. Now let's have a look and see if this works. The problem is that it seems to be a bit caught. There, that's better. It lowers the flame a little bit. I think it needs some adjusting. So let's see it from the side. It does lower the flame a little bit, but not by much. Now, just to protect my camera, I will snuff this out. And there we have it, the new Wick. It's still got fuel in it. I think once this cools down, I will see if I can raise this a little bit, just so that it gives a little bit more play out of it, although there doesn't seem to be much. Now, unlike the tapiole, this hasn't heated up, which was a huge problem trying to regulate that stove. Also, with the new Wick, 5 minutes, that's a good time to boil 300 mils of water. If I remember rightly, the tapiole went on forever trying to boil. I think it would probably do with a new Wick as well. Now, obviously I'll be keeping this as part of my collection. I doubt if I would be taking it with me. If you do have fuel in it, this does close, but there is no rubber seal to protect it, so you'd have to keep it upright, which is fine on a car, but not exactly great in a rucksack. However, you can use it with other stove supports, pot supports, so it would make an interesting little stove. If anybody's has, say, a vintage car or a classic car and they want to go on a meet, and they want something that would fit in with the period, this would be quite good. So let me know in the comments what you think of this stove. Do you think the tapiole could do with a wick replacement? You can always check out the video on that later. I have quite a few German stoves. The Juwel, the HRZ that I showed a couple of weeks ago, an Ender's Baby, the HPV Mambo, an Esbit stove from the Bundesrepublik, and this one. They all show good workmanship, and what's interesting is this one, like the HRZ, was made by a toy manufacturer. This is probably tin. The dates are all 1925 to 1932. It's basically a Weimar stove. And it's interesting, it's probably for the export market, as it didn't say Deutschland on it, it said Germany. And I like it. I like the mechanism. I like how easy it is to change the wick, how easy it is to fill, and I was surprised at how efficient it actually was. So tune in next week and I'll bring you something else interesting. Probably alcohol, maybe white gas. You'll just have to wait and see. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks everyone. See you all later. Bye bye.